This is Vector99, your Lord and personal 2K savior. Sometimes I was watching Creature Commandos or whatever. I guess episode 2 is basically, this is like the spoiler sort of version of my thoughts on that. I've said on this channel before that I want to fight James Gunn. Like in real life, if I ever saw him, I wouldn't do anything crazy. I might throw a drink on him or something, like something light. But really, I'm not crazy, and I wouldn't do anything crazy. But I am jealous that he lived a life, and he got to the point where he's the head of DC's movie department, and that's any person that's ever seen Superman or Batman, you would love that job. It'd be a crazy job that they have to run all the ideas through you, and you get to say yay or nay or whatever for however long, if it's 7 years or 10 years, however long his tenure is at this position. And so, some side notes. It's one of my favorite things I love to do. You'll find out about it. I love to say side note and then go into a side note. I saw something, an article saying that Mike Flanagan, the dude who's been working with Netflix or whatever, his wife is a baddie. I'd slap that nigga though. Like James Gunn, I'm not trying to fight him, but Mike Flanagan, not that I'm afraid of James Gunn, but Mike Flanagan, no, we need to fight because it's Mortal Kombat because I want to take his girl. But anyway, that's just some braggadocious stuff. He got hired to write a script for a Clayface movie. Maybe that's going to morph into Batman Part 2. I don't know. But that pissed me off because James Gunn and DC, by extension, they passed up on the animators from the Spider-Verse doing a Batman Beyond movie in the same style. And then these motherfuckers are talking about Clayface, who nobody gives a fuck. Now, you know what movie I want? A standalone? I want the motherfucking ventriloquist. And as we get deeper into this channel and I get more refined, I'm gonna stop cursing. But Clayface that's such, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. But if you want to do a real deep, interesting character study, talk about the old man with the puppet who's running the gang. That's way more interesting. So I'm like, no Batman Beyond movie, but we can get Clayface. And that's what James Gunn's doing. Also, a side note to the side note, I hate the expression everybody can't go. Which is this notion that when you get to the top, you can't take people with you, or not everybody's ready for prime time, or not everybody deserves a spot. And what I like about this is Giannis Antetokounmpo, he put his brothers on. He tries to put his brother Thanasis on. And James Gunn, hiring his brother, he got to seduce that lady. That's his wife now. He's putting her in all the movies. So I just think it's a mindset. It's a mindset of lower sort of income people, maybe. This idea that when you get to the top, you don't have to look back or help people around you or whatever. And that's, you can take that or leave that. So I'm watching this Creature Commandos episode 2. And I'm a big fan of, like most people, I'm a big fan of animation or whatever, of all kinds of animation. So I'm watching the animation and, I was kind of noticing that, the guy playing Rick Flag's dad, Frank Grillo, or however you say his name in real life, he's doing a pretty good job. His character's cool, he's masculine and all that stuff. So he's kind of the lead, but he's not really the lead of the show. The Bride of Frankenstein lady or whatever, I was kind of seeing how they were setting her up to really be like the lead. And if you want to believe in like woke narratives or whatever, you can kind of see where they were going with that or whatever. But for the most part, this episode right here, like episode 2, it hella endeared her to me because it went into the lore of the Frankenstein angle. And what compelled me to record this conversation with you via the internet is that I love the movie Frankenstein with Robert De Niro and Kenneth Branagh. I feel like you should, if you haven't seen that, you should see it, because the scene in which the bride comes to life, Helen, I don't know her middle name, Bohemian, that's not her middle name, but Helen something Carter, she was married to Tim Burton for a little bit. Her acting in the scene where she's reborn should have got her the Oscar that year. Hell, she deserves an honorary Oscar just for that performance, because I've seen a lot of movies, a lot of television, a lot of Pornhub. Damn, I think we went dark there. We're not gonna. Hey, I'm gonna have my editor cut that out. But her scene in that Frankenstein movie, phenomenal. Robert De Niro's portrayal of Frankenstein was amazing. I mean, it was still Robert De Niro, a lot of Robert De Niro isms, but this was the first time that I've ever seen on film since then till now, whatever year that was, where Frankenstein got to be sophisticated or eloquent and turn the tables on his creator and say, why did you do this shit to me? So I'm watching episode 2 of this Creature Commandos thing, and then this is spoiler filled. I never ever didn't think of a love triangle between the three of them, and that shit was interesting, intriguing, in the sense that Victor Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, he made the dude, and then he made Frankenstein, the monster, presses him to make a girl. But in the old version and the Robert De Niro version, that's just where it ends. But in this cartoon version, you know, they made the Frankenstein lady kind of sexy or whatever, like her outline and her voice or whatever. And so they end up falling in love or whatever, and then Frankenstein is a hater. He on the outside looking in like, oh, dad, he got bitch jacked, which is something that can happen in real life. You can get bitch jacked. Your bitch can get jacked. It can happen. So, I guess where I am in the episode or whatever, the Frankenstein lady, she's fighting the lady from the Wonder Woman lady. And man, it just brought back all the vibes of Frankenstein for me. Just the Robert De Niro version or whatever. And then just the idea that DC and by Marvel, by like an extension, DC is cool using Frankenstein because Frankenstein is in the public domain, but they don't want to let their characters go into the public domain, right? So there's like a big fight, you know? So Spider-Man and Batman, they'll probably never go in the public domain. But I think it's a do as I say, not as I do kind of thing, where it's like, okay, so y'all don't want nobody using your characters, but you're using Frankenstein or whatever. That's cool. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think you should watch the second episode of Creature Commandos, and maybe the whole series. I don't know where they're going with it, but this was like super interesting because of the love triangle aspect of it, and just the fact that when if you going by this continuity, Victor made her, but he knew that he had to coach her up to get her mind going, and Frankenstein, he didn't understand that. But in the process of getting her ready to be the bride of Frankenstein, this nigga fell in love with her. And I'm going to try to stop saying the N-word too, because I don't know. But at the end of the day, No. Creature Commandos, I'm very curious. I wish the roster of the sort of the Suicide Squad that's undead was a little different. Cause the fish girl, she's giving me nothing. And so if you're gonna have her in the show, I'm like, all right, can we have a fake Hellboy? Can we have a DC's version of Hellboy? He can be blue. He don't have to be red, whatever. But seeing the fish girl just reminds me of Hellboy, and I don't care about her. The robot, I don't care about him. The Dr. Phosphorus dude, I thought he kind of reminded me of the dude from Batman Beyond that was like highlighter green or whatever. So I was like, I thought that was going to be him, but it's not. And then the Weasel, that's just some fucking James Gunn shit, because it's supposed to be comedic relief. I don't fuck with that dude. It's just like whatever. And then Rick Flag himself is cool. I don't really care for him either. He's kind of bland. He's like an everyman kind of dude. But he's got a lot of hair for someone that's like 56. Viola Davis though. Viola Davis is like the way they drew Amanda Waller, that shit kind of seduced me. You know, and it got me rethinking how I think about Viola Davis. Because I imagine, just like anybody, like if you catch Viola Davis under the moonlight and her sophistication and her perfumes and shit hit you, you know what I'm saying? You're going to start seeing shit different. You're like, do I want to go out with Megan Thee Stallion or Viola Davis? And that shit might switch, you know? So I think I've gone on long enough without really giving you a real recap of the show, but I just wanted to say that the Frankenstein aspects of this shit elevated it in my mind, and it turned it into cinema. And I'm a method actor. So, you know, like if my character has herpes or something, I gotta go out and get it. And as a method watcher, I was watching this show and I was like, even though they're hyping up the Bride of Frankenstein character, this was like so well written that I went on her side. But I would, you know, hypothetically in a parallel universe, I would want the GI robot to be a savage. I want all of them to be a savage. I want Dr. Phosphorus to be more like, not of a menace in terms of being evil, but like legit. Like he fought Rick Flag and got his ass whooped. It's like, if you can't beat a human, what are you gonna do for the rest of the show? But this is Back to 99, and I will talk to you later, alligator.